Okay, I will be redoing the voiceover on this, but we're going to be looking at some dice. I've already got a few laid out here to turn them into perspective for the camera. We've got what's called a spinner or countdown, usually used for Magic the Gathering and other things where you count down. So you've got 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, and then from 16 to 15. There you go. And where's the 14? Yeah, so that's how that goes. This is a classic clear die. Bit of paint job on it for the numbering. Should stand out pretty well. And here's a marble die. And as you can see right there, there's a air bubble inclusion. I don't like marble dies for that fact. They can be off balanced. And here is a classic that some Rollmaster fans and the like are familiar with. It's a double D10. That plus means it's 10 and then the number. So that's 14 and that's a 10. So I'll be rolling these a few times, collecting the results and speeding up the video so you can see all that. Beyond those, same set of dice, your Icosahedron, pause, tetrahedron for 4. So when it lands, can't really see it this way, but that would be a 4 because that is the up position. This would be a 2 because it's the up position. I do not like these. If you step on one, you would learn pretty quickly why. What I'll do is I'll roll an 8 and just count by 2s. So that is a 1. Again, a 1. It's going to be a low rolled AA. Very low rolled AA. There we go. I would count that as a 4, even though it is an 8, because I don't like rolling the d4s. A d8 is referred to as a octahedron because it has 8 face, octa. Your cube, or hexahedron, there's a 3, there's a 6, probably off the film, there's another 6. Everybody's familiar with these. If you want the absolute best randomization dice, get yourself some dice from a casino. You can buy the used ones. They are made so that the pips, instead of a numerical value with the Arabic numerals, they have the pips. And the pips are made from the same density of material that they're carved out of, so the die has the exact same weight on all the sides for fairness. Get those out of the way. Next up is the dodecahedron, one of my favorite words. It's just a 12-sided, and it's on the floor. The cat will have that later. Now, for percentile, I talked about earlier the double D10s. You would use 2 of them, like a D10 and another D10. You would roll them together, and this will be a 12. Or that would be a 2 and a 5. So 25 if you roll percentile. Or if you wanted to use the set of dice, that's a 57. That focused? That focused. But again, these are marble dice. They're pretty, but that marbling means the density of it is not uniform. So that is why today we will be rolling a bunch of my favorite Icosahedron. Yeah, I will definitely be doing the voice up on that a little bit later. So let's bring in our zoom. Bring it out a little bit. And go from here. And here I go, just rolling through the dice, speed it up, and closing off the audio. Just put it on mute, and I ramble on endlessly. I do, however, tell a story about having a block of dice when I was running a game of 4th edition. One of the players was fairly experienced, but most of them were new players. And after a house fire, I didn't have very many things. So I had to go out and purchase a set of dice. At some point before the game, when I had stored the dice, they were still in the little cube and had a silver and topaz ring stored with it. Now, the interesting part about that was when I got the dice out, I hadn't used them in a while, and one of the existing players, or the more senior player, or an experienced player, Matt, I was curious as to what kind of dice his new DM would have, and I busted out a flat set of dice, matte gray, black coloring for the numeric values. But when I opened up the dice box, seeing just one set of dice, he thought, what kind of a psychopath DM has just one set of dice? And honestly, it freaked him out when I put a ring on and then rolled the dice. And, oh, here's the audio. And the results are in. Let me move this so I can face the camera a bit and still read. We have our spinner coming in with an average of 10.25, which is pretty good. The actual average number that we would be looking at if we were to roll it 100 times, ooh, I need to figure out how many times I rolled it and add that in there, would be 10.5. So on blue, we have an average of 10.865, 10.9. Pretty good, pretty good. And for the marble, we're at 10.63, and double D10, 11.01. So, yep. Inclusions, spinners, clear, makes effectively no difference. And the last part on there is the total count was 52. Not quite the 100, but spent a quarter of an hour just rolling dice and talking to the camera. Again, averages out to about what you'd expect.